Okay, so let's look at this fraction over here, 2 over 3. Now this over here is just a standard proper fraction, right? Now when I say proper fraction, what I'm saying is the top number is smaller than the lower number. So the numerator, we call the top number the numerator, and the bottom number the denominator. The numerator is smaller than the denominator, which is standard, right? If you think about maybe, again, a pie, okay, if we cut it up, okay, we'll be shading in 2 out of the 3 pieces, that's 2/3, okay, pretty standard, right? But then sometimes we get fractions which look like this, okay, for example, 5 over 4, all right? Now what is 5 over 4? Well, we call this an improper fraction, because it's a top heavy fraction. You can see the top number is bigger than the lower number, so the numerator is bigger than the denominator, and this is top heavy, okay? So which means if you think about a pie, it doesn't all fit in one pie tray, all right? So it doesn't all fit in one pie tray. There's this additional piece on the side somewhere, all right? And then you've got mixed fractions, and mixed fraction is something we see quite regularly, okay? Something like 1/4, okay? And what this means is just we've got one whole pie and a quarter of a pie left, all right? And this is a mixed fraction, okay? So this is mixed with integers and fractions, okay? Now let's look at the mixed fraction first. Now what does a mixed fraction actually mean, okay? If we look at this mixed fraction over here, okay, 1/4, well, what that pretty much says is we've got one whole pie, okay, plus a quarter of a pie. Okay, that's what we're saying. We've got a whole pie and a quarter of a pie. And let's just say if I drew this up fully, okay, and if I cut this up, okay, the shaded area is what we don't have. Okay, and anything that's not shaded is what we have. So we've got one whole plus a quarter. I know it's not proportional, but think of it as the same size. Okay, that's what we have. So what this pretty much says is we've got 1 plus 1/4, and that's what it actually means. 1 1/4 just means 1 plus a quarter. People misunderstand it as 1 times 1/4 because it's joined together, but this is actually incorrect. Okay, so this is incorrect. It is 1 plus a quarter. Okay, and that's what we look at. So if we had to convert this mixed fraction to an improper fraction, all we do is find a common denominator. So convert 1 into a fraction with a denominator of 4, which we can do, because 4 over 4 just means 1 whole, plus 1/4, because both of them have the exact same denominator now. Like we talk about in adding fractions or subtracting fractions, we can just go through the standard addition process. So we get 4 plus 1 over 4, which equals 5 over 4, which is our improper fraction, okay, because it's top heavy, and it means the exact same thing as 1 1/4. 5 over 4 means the exact same thing, okay? If I were to split this up into 4 pieces, okay, and say we still have these 4 pieces, so if you think about it, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. 5 over 4 just means that we've got 1 whole plus this additional quarter on the side. Okay, so that's what 5 over 4 means. Okay, 5 pieces, and that 4 means what that whole would look like. Okay, how many slices we have in one tray, for example. All right, so that's the way of thinking about it. Cool. So we know how to. So we thought about converting between mixed and improper, right? We've looked at the example. Let's just say we had a fraction, something like 7 over 2, and we were told to convert this to a mixed fraction. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll look at how many times does 2 go into 7. Well, 2 goes into 7 3 times. Because if you think about it, 3 times 2 is 6, right? And then 4 times 2 is 8, and 7 falls in between. So 2 goes into 7 3 times. If we go through our division process, 3 times 2 is 6. If we subtract the 2, we get 1. And this is our remainder. Which means we've got 3 whole pieces plus half a piece. And that's what that means. So if we draw it up, so we've got 3 pies, 3 whole pies. 1, 2, 3 plus half a pi. Okay? If I draw this up as a whole and I shade it in, so the shaded area is not what we have. And again, if we split this up, we count the halves, we've got 1 half, 2, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves, 6, and 7. So we've got 7 half pieces. Okay? That's what it's saying, 7 half pieces. If we go back up here, this is 5 quarter pieces. 5 quarter pieces of pies. So that's what we're doing. So we've converted this improper fraction into a mixed fraction by going through our standard division process. Okay? Let's look at one more. Let's say I had 2 1/3. And I wanted to convert this to an improper fraction. So let's see what it looks like as a diagram. We've got 2 whole plus 1/3. So the shaded area is not something we don't have. Okay? And let's do this without even calculating this. So let's say if I had to convert this, if I split this all up into thirds. So how many third pieces do we have? Well, we've got 1 here. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. And this is 7. So we should be looking at 7/3. Let's see if that matches up. So again, this becomes 2 plus 1/3. Let's find a common denominator. So what do? We have to find this 2 whole as a common denominator. So we can make that. Okay, if we multiply this out to get 3 down the bottom. Okay, we want a common denominator. So what I'll do is I actually might multiply this with 3/3. Right? So this becomes 6/3. Right? That's what we've done. Plus 1/3. And if we add the 2 numbers up top, 6 plus 1/3, well, that equals 7/3, which is what we got from our diagram. All right? So that's the process of converting mixed fractions to improper and improper to mixed. Okay? It's just all about sometimes drawing it up or just going through the basic process of adding fractions. All right?